フリッカー2個ある。
Great. So what a great talk to follow up. You know, we're almost done.
Yeah.
One more talk. Maybe we've lost a few people, but thank you for staying, those that have. Today we're going to talk about revolutionizing the workplace, our approach in doing so. But before we jump into it, we're going to introduce ourselves a bit. So hand it off to you, Jun.
Yeah, thank you very much. Here, my name is Jun Inada. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me briefly introduce myself. I joined to the Ricoh 2005, and I spent 4 years over there as a domestic field sales, and then doing the import-export operation and also supply chain management. And then I go into the Netherlands, where we have a European central warehouse. The square meter, I think it's 35,000 square meter over there. So there is another business opportunity for you guys. And I do the supply chain management. And I moved to London afterwards and do where we have European headquarters. And I do budget planning and emerging market support and also new business development. And then 2017, I'm going back to Japan as in people HR. Yeah, I'm really running around the company, inside the company. And the last 4 years, I was engaging with the CEO Direct project, which is very related to today's presentation. So this is me. So back to you, Alex.
All right, so you know a bit about me already.
It does work?
That's better. So I run a company called Art and Program. We are based in Tokyo. We do software, hardware, we do firmware development, we do PCB design, we do prototyping for startups all the way to Fortune 500 companies, and we also make a few products. So two things which are maybe a little bit unique to us. One is that art is in the name of Art and Program. So we really are focusing on the user, on the human. So how is the person going to use the technology? How can we make it to feel as natural as possible? Do you get the analog nature of what they're going to use? And how can we understand their needs? So really focusing on the person, how we can make a beautiful design for them that they're going to really enjoy. And the other thing is that we have in-house manufacturing capabilities. So we prototype everything in-house. We can go from a board of FR4 to a working PCB in 1 day. We can do up to 8 layers in 2 days. So we start at the beginning of the week and run through a design, test it, order parts at the end of the week, and go to the next design. So we iterate really quickly before going to manufacturing, which is maybe one of our strengths. So back to you, Jun.
Yeah, thank you very much. So in this presentation, we will talk about what we are doing and also how we are doing with the technology. But before that, let me just briefly touch upon why we are doing as a Ricoh Group for this kind of things. So back in 2017, we have a very strong leader named Jake Yamashita again, it doesn't.
Yes, you need to.
Sorry, yeah.
Let's get rid of this.
Oh, yeah.
We don't make the mistake. Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't go back. Okay. This gentleman, the Jake Yamashita, was assigned as a global CEO of Ricoh Group, and one of his basic policy is he's very much focused on the people, and he really wanted to understand the people, especially people at workplaces. And one of his passion would be he really tried to not the change but update the value proposition and also even the visions of Ricoh Group. And then, so focusing on the people is really the part of the vision. And the next year, he decided to move the headquarters from very central Tokyo to our original place where our founder, Kiyoshi Ichimura, started our business and expand our business. So one of the reasons why he moved the headquarters from the very central Tokyo to our original place would be, so he think about to redesign the company's direction and the visions, which is not an easy job because since we've been successful of the printing and managed document services business, we make a 15 billion euro worth of business, and also 75,000 employees we have across the world. So every small, even a small decision making a big impact on those stakeholders. So that's why he really wanted to care about what he tried to change. But and then he decided to go back to basic, and I can assume that he is now would like to talk to Kiyoshi Ichimura, who is already passed away a decade ago. Okay, what is your founding principles, and what is your vision at the time, and what kind of choices are you going to take if you are alive today? So, but unfortunately, he cannot make it. So, but still, it's very important. We're going back to the original place, physically and mentally, and to try to learn what is the first, the passion to begin the business. And actually, the Kiyoshi Ichimura has his own the founding principles, which is the spirit of three loves. So, which include love your neighbor, love your country, and love your work. So, one of his interesting area that Jake focused on is how can we make the work more positive or more joyful or more excited to the people? Because even the Ricoh employees, sometimes the work is not so positive, so just for the living. Some of the people is like that. So, but he definitely would like to change the definition of the work to more positive. And so we targeted 2036, which is our 100 years anniversary. So we wanted to reborn ourselves as a 0 years old company rather than 100 years old company. So, and then we put all those concepts into one sentence, which is fulfillment through work. So this is our statement of 2036 visions. So, and let's have a look at the map. So this is Japan. This is only a 13 hours flight distance from the Helsinki.
Over the North Pole now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
They give you certification on the flight.
And I know some of you are very familiar with the Japan. And the Tokyo is very center here. So if we zoomed in, our headquarters is here. But used to be, we have maybe headquarters around here. So this is very central. So it's still very close to the central Tokyo, but we have a very nice distance from there. And this is our original place. If we zoomed in a bit more, here we have a Ricoh headquarters over there. And still, we have a founder residence, and one of his relatives still living there. So this is very meaningful for the Ricoh group. And here you can see the very unique sign that's the San-El, which is the building name. Obviously, it's named after the three love spirit. This is a kind of a secret base that we try to create that future value from the new generations. So within this building, so this is kind of a new activity. We need a bit distance from the current core business. You know, all the business running in here. And we need a bit the distance in terms of the physically and mentally. So, but we still need to collaborate with those people at the end. So with a ring road in between, keep a reasonable distance from the head office and move away from the rules of existing business. And in the land related to the founder, we are creating a place to think about the measure of work and put it into practice. So this is the San-El building. I will touch upon later again. So how we can drive the visions of fulfillment through work? What is it? So in 2018, we formed a dedicated project team, which is purely focusing on to realize the fulfillment through work visions. And the uniqueness of this project team is, as you can see here, this is not the top-down assigned kind of project team, but this is the bottom-up, voluntarily raise hands type of project. Also, all those guys used to be related to the printing business, but they throw that career away and then think about the purely in the future, what should we provide as a new value proposition as a Ricoh. So, and then 2020, we have this building renovated, and this is purely focusing on the So we are allowed to do anything in here, so try and error, research and development. And then we also invite a lot of non-Ricoh partners into here, and then try to make this building as a new generation workplaces as well.
Right, and it's called practical because it's what can we do today what can we do for tomorrow with today's data? So not thinking 10 years ahead, but looking with what data we have now and really doing something practical with it.
Exactly, yeah, thank you. So through this activity, we try to find some tangible solutions or tangible values that represent the fulfillment through work, which we never solved. Okay, so the next one is that project name is the Forward Project Team. So that Forward Project Team's mission is explore people's creativity beyond the productivity. What does that mean? So if I step back a bit and look at what is the really Ricoh's value proposition. So we provide those one. So multifunctional printer and also managed document services. So what is the real value on that one is not the metric box. You may have one in your office. We can, by utilizing that, you might be able to work smarter. So this printer duplicate your document on behalf of you. So the real benefit on that is that we can generate the time for the workers who utilize our product and the services. So, and then next area that we wanted to focus on is, okay, people get this extra time thanks to the technology, not necessary for Ricoh, but all the other supplier solution provider provide a lot of solutions to the workplaces, and then they utilize that and make that work efficient, then they can get extra time. So as a next stage, the area we are looking at is how can we support the people with this extra time? So we assume that the people would like to do more creative work. So is there anything that we can approach to the people directly and then drive their creativity? So this is the area that we try to looking for. And so this area, we believe that we still have a lot of big business. So, and then demand is there. So that's a bit easier to make a business around this area. Means that, so I would say this is kind of convenient value. So if you can take that, you can reduce, you can save the time, you can save the cost. So which is very convenient, but it's very easy to get into the price competition very easily. But this area is slightly different because this is all about, even if we provide those solutions to the people, it's not about the saving the cost or saving your workflow. So sorry. So this is about kind of exhibitions or a museum type of thing. So we try to give the customer experience rather than cost saving or cost time to save the time. So this is our challenge. What is that? We never seen that. So that's why we try to challenge to make it real. So and then I believe that we cannot do that alone. So that's why we decided to team up, and then I try to create the visions for the future together with Alex. And Alex, do you know any technology that we can achieve that, drive the creativity or drive some of the people's emotional side of things? And he invite the Kokusai Kogyo, KKC, and the Kokusai Kogyo introduced us the technology of the Quuppa. So this is how we team up and then try to create and drive the next generation workplace and work style. So the area of interest we are looking at is so the area of creativity, engagement, and well-being. So this is very difficult to quantify it. So, and, oh, sorry. I also looking at the emotional side of the things. We pretty much difficult to understand the people's emotion in the workplaces. But we have a hypothesis. If the people has very good energy of a creativity and engagement and well-being, and if the people emotional side of things is very good, then that individuals or that team brings a more beneficial output. So we wanted to look at the relationship in between. So and then take the maximum use of Sangel as a facility. We are looking at the team activity rather than the individual's solo work. As you might be aware, that the COVID-19 brings us a lot of changes. So the most of the people choose the hybrid work, and we just think about, okay, what is the reason that the people come into the office, which is not the same reason as before. So we believe that if the people try to do the teamwork or team activity, it could be better to face-to-face activity. So that's why we're looking at the team activity. And again, those are the key area we wanted to look at, or we wanted to understand the engagement, well-being, and creativity. But the problem is how. We believe that this is the initial approach for us, but why don't we just understand the people's behavior, which we can track and trace. So, and this is objective information. So rather than having a day-to-day questionnaire or having vital information capturing or to understand the brain signals or whatever, we think that this is the good enough to as a start of the investigation. So and then what kind of behavior we wanted to look at, which is the communication. So if we look at the conversation and the location, we might be able to understand slightly of those people's engagement and well-being and creativity. So this is our big hypothesis, and the more challenging is how we can do that, how we can capture all those information correctly without any interfering of the people at workplaces. So, and then I pass it to you, Alex, how you can make it.
Right, not so easy. So we finally get to Quuppa. Why in 2019, when June got in touch, did we end up using Quuppa? So we're looking at the CEO, Mr. Yamashita, said we want to look at fulfillment through work. So we want to have an idea of how happy people are. Well, it's really hard to judge how people are. I'll give you a survey every day. All right, now you're not so happy anymore. So let's not do that. We want to passively get a sense of how people are doing. But looking at individuals is pretty difficult. So what we're going to do is focus on teams. So if we can look and analyze passively through data how well a team is communicating. Are the team members talking regularly? Are they talking one-to-one? Are they talking outside of the meeting room? Like, are they meeting with people who aren't on the team? So by looking at the communication, maybe we can get a sense of how healthy the team is. And if the team is performing well, then we know they have, we can look at the engagement and the well-being of the team itself. So if we want to do that, right, how are we going to do it? We need to know where they are in the space. So you already know the answer to all this, but we need to know where they are in the space. We need to know who they're talking to. So we have to have an idea of when they're speaking. So that's where the devices are back there. But so we have made a tag. So we know now when people are interacting. We know where they're interacting. So we want to know whether there's a conversation in the hallway, not just in the meeting room. These random meetings where people just kind of stop or talking in front of the coffee machines for a few minutes. Those are really important to get an idea of how healthy the relationships are. So it needs to be accurate, and we need to build a solution. We need a module that we can work with, and we want the data. We don't want to build it all, so we need an API. So at the time, 2019, I think it's still the case. There's only one solution, Quuppa, right? So we've talked a lot about the vision, why we're doing our hypothesis, but let's show you what we actually built.
一瞬一刻が証拠の連続だと考えるわけであります。
So in a nutshell, that's what the space is. Thank you. Let's go into a few details, but before so, we really want to say, we're respecting privacy. Privacy is super important. We're not trying to be Big Brother. So we're not recording anything that you say in the space. The device isn't recording the audio or sending it anywhere. What it's doing on the edge is the spectrum analysis of the sound. And then it's only sending the amplitude of 5 different frequencies. And then based on that, we can judge whether it's a person is talking, or music, or shutting a door, or just a device hitting the body. So just no sound data, right? So we don't know what you're saying. There are private zones within the space where you can go, and we don't record any data. So you can go to, if you want, you can go to a quiet place. And people who do come to use the space, so when you use 3.0, you use it as a team. It's not really like a share office. It's not for individuals. You register a team, and then you're given a space, and you know that we are going to be looking at your data, and we show you, we give you access to exactly what we're looking at. So there's nothing hidden there. And if you're going to use it, you know what to expect in that sense. If you don't want to participate, then there are lots of other offices in Tokyo that Ricoh has that you can use. So it's an agreement between us and the people who use the teams that use the space. So a few technical details of the space itself. 3 floors, an auditorium, 1,600 square meters. So, maybe just a little teensy-weensy event of the 100 million square feet goal, but still. 87 locators, indoor and outdoor location positioning. So there are a couple garden spaces that we also track. There are, at any given time, over 100 tags, active users in the space, in addition to the environmental tags. Everything is based on tag modules, Qt1 tag modules. So we did the firmware and the PCB design, and Ricoh did the case design and the 3D printing. I mention that because it's really important to the project. This isn't about us making a solution and saying, here you go, Ricoh, we're done. This isn't a kind of project that you can do that with. Things take time, right? You really have to work together over a long period to get an idea of, what's the solution that we're working towards. So we have a hypothesis at the beginning, but is it going to actually really work out the way we want it to? So it's a team effort. So we're always collaborating. It's not just us making something for Ricoh. So that's a really important aspect of the project, not just between us, but between all the partners in the project. The device itself, so the wearable tag, is 5 frequencies, sound, that it's sending, amplitude, and temperature, humidity. There's a barometer in it as well. And for the environmental tag, there's a dedicated NDIR CO2 sensor, and then VOC, temperature, humidity, barometer, light, and sound. So the reason why we do this is because we're thinking of the space, the vision of the space. The story we want to tell is 3L is a living space. So when you come to visit, how can we make the space seem alive to you? How can we make your experience there better by having an idea of who you are? And how can the space react to you? So let's make it a living space. How are we going to do that? We need to give it some attributes, right? So we'll give it ears. How are we going to give it ears? We make the wearable tag. So now we know, the space knows where you're communicating in the space, right? It has an idea of who's talking. Are you concentrating by yourself working on something, or are you talking somewhere in a meeting room? We have an idea of the environmental space. So is the air quality good where you are? Is it too loud or too quiet? So the space now knows this. And then we give it eyes. The eyes are location, so we know everyone is in the space. But so how does the space speak to you? Where's 3L's voice? So one way is through the app, the 3L app. When you check in, you have to scan the device. That's how we tag you, the device you're wearing, to who you are. And you also input data into the app, so we have an idea, what's your department, maybe some details about yourself, some interesting things about yourself. Do you like cold environments or hot environments? Do you like to be more quiet time? Or are you more interested? We ask a few questions through this app, so we have an idea of who you are before you even come. And then we can, through the space, can send you notifications, right? So if the air quality is low, we can let you know, okay, you should open the window, please. So that was one of the things you saw in the video. But we can also say, okay, you've never met the person who's sitting across the way on the sofa over there, but you might want to say hello if you have some extra time because you have some similar interests. This is the sharing table. So here, they're having just experienced Prism. They're looking at the data of how much people communicated, who was talking how much during the time they were in the space, how active they were in the space, how much time standing up, sitting down. But these tables can also be used. You saw the entrance panel at the beginning. We can say hello to users. We can give them messages and whatnot. So it's another way that we can interact. It's the voice of the space. We do automatic lighting and HVAC as well. It's not as fast as infrared sensors, but it's actually pretty good. And so people who have used the space for a few days stop pressing any switches, which is fun. But we also know what your preferences are. So Jun likes to, he's running hot all the time. He likes to cool. So when he comes into the room, we know to set the temperature 2 degrees lower for him. And those are kind of fun things that we do. So we pay attention to how you change the settings on HVAC, and then next time you come, we look at all the people in the space and we try to come up with the best temperature for you. And so these are the visualizations that we made. So this was kind of a fun project with the Ricoh design team. So they wanted to learn some programming to get an idea of what programmers go through in implementing their graphic designs. So they came to 3L, and rather than just doing some random, rather than use an online course, this is completely unrelated to their work, we have an API at 3L that they can use, and they can get all the data in real time. So let's use that API and make something. So all the visualizations that you saw are actually made by Ricoh designers, which I think is pretty cool. This is the main visualization for how people are interacting. So you're seeing on the lower left, she's been selected, but you can see the people and this is who is at 3L today, now. And you can see how much she's spoken. So the line going away for her, the thickness is how much she's spoken to that person, and the other way is how much they've spoken to her. So you can see how much is spoken as opposed to listen. And on the left to the second, you can see how much each person she has spoken to in the space that day. And this is the visualization for the meeting. So on the top, the total, the aggregate for each person, how much have they spoken so far, and then the bottom are 2-minute segments. So the percentage of how much each person is talking. So maybe I should be a little bit quiet, I've been talking too much, or I should the other way around is one of the reasons why I provide it. But we're not telling users how to use it, we're just giving them the data, right? And finally, this isn't the museum of the future, but we wanted to make a piece because 3L is next to the founder's residence. And the younger generation coming into Ricoh has no idea who he is really. We wanted to make a place where people come and meet him. So we kind of made a museum-like experience for visitors. You select who's going to experience it. It's an experience for one person. And you answer about 5 questions, a little questionnaire. And then we made the experience focused on sound because we didn't want to bring him back to life, like through some visualization. We wanted to focus on his voice because he has a really distinct voice with a distinct accent. So the first half of the experience, once you've answered the questions, you hear a music box that starts playing, and you go back, and you put these headphones on, and you listen to a tailored speech for you, depending on how you answer the questions. And he says your name, there's some neat tricks like that. And once you've done that, you go back to the main foyer, and you saw the end of that so this is kind of a public space, people are walking by, but he's giving a speech for you based on his life experiences, his advice for you. And so you're maybe standing a little bit straight, you back a little bit straight as you listen. But this is all coordinated with location, so it doesn't actually start until you go and sit down and put the headphones on. This part doesn't start till you're back in front and watching. So we can add that magical element with Quuppa in this space. So as I mentioned a little earlier, how can we make 3L as a catalyst for innovation? So part of that is making it an API, so people who are using the space, who come to the space, can connect via WebSocket and authenticate, and then they have a stream of all the data, where people are, who they're interacting with, the environmental data, and they can also control the space. So they can develop they can play, right? They can develop new things in the space freely. So what have we learned so far? How have we revolutionized the workplace, right? We're still working on that, right? This is a work in progress. One of the things we've come to learn is, awareness plants the seeds for change. So if you look over a series of months, okay, compared to last month, how has my communication changed? How are the people that I'm interacting with changed? And when you see the data and you see, oh, I haven't been speaking so much to so-and-so, or this is actually the people that I'm really most into, you have a sense of it anyway, right? You don't need it in data. But by seeing it, it provides another dimension to it, right? It brings it to another level of awareness. And that awareness kind of plants the seeds for, oh, maybe next month or maybe tomorrow, I'll make more of a conscious effort to go and talk to so-and-so. So it's planting the seeds, right? Looking at engagement and well-being. So we started this. Can we get an idea of how engagement and well-being, the health of the team through the data? And the answer is actually yes. So, we don't, this isn't a product that we're ready to sell yet, but we do get a good idea of how healthy the teams are, how engaged they are, and how well the individual members are doing just from the data itself. We've gotten great positive feedback regarding the visualizations, so the meeting visualization. What was kind of unexpected with this was that you think people who talk too much would talk less, but the feedback we get is the opposite. People who are a little bit more quiet are like, that really made me think about, I should speak up a bit more. So that was a little unexpected. And the visualization of how people, during the day in real time, how you're interacting has been popular. But we expected the analytics to be a little bit more, to be what people were mostly interested, like month by month or year by year. Because you can see that, not just in real time, you can look back. You can look at your team, you can look at other teams, you can see who else you're interacting with in the space. But really, what people have been most interested thus far is real time. Show me the data. And as a fun thing, after you visit 3L, the next day we send in the morning an email of who you met in the space and how long you interacted. It's kind of like a reminder, and this has been pretty popular. So what's next for 3L? I think, so we've been open and running and doing this work for over a year. Really, now that we have a lot of data, we know we do some interactions, we do some guiding through people in the space, but we need to take it to the next level. So how can we provide you more, the users of 3L, more value, extra value through the data that we have? So how can we guide you to meet people that you wouldn't have met without 3L trying to introduce you, right? How can we use that data in ways to make new interactions that wouldn't have happened without it? How can we intervene in interesting ways? Is really what we're focusing on in the upcoming year. So what's next for Ricoh?
Right, thank you. Our journey just has been started, and this is not. We do not formalize those one as a services for any business model yet. So that is why it's not for sales. But the things what we wanted to do is we wanted to understand the data much better, and also we wanted to once we can have some of the tips for the people create work, we wanted to expand this idea to maybe first Ricoh internally a bit more, because we have a lot of different office has the different functionality people. And also we are looking for some of the vision partner rather than the customer. So if one of you is very interested in and have the same vision and try one of those and try to look at the data together and what the data tells us. So those kind of a vision partner, if we can find, then it's very welcome to do something
Get in
together.
touch.
Yeah.
So for us, we're always interested. We love sensors. We love making devices. We love making new fun things. So if you want to do something with sensors and modules and make something new and together, definitely get in touch. We also like building solutions on top of the API on QSE, so we're good at that too. One thing I would like to introduce is we're working on getting this tag certified. It's currently a prototype, but it's powered just by ambient light. So if you have consistent light in the space, just enough light in the seats here is fine. But you can do location with no battery, and it will last as long as it continues to harvest energy, so at least 10 years. All right, before we get to questions, though, we would like to invite our partner at KKC, Mr. Hasegawa, to the stage.
Hey, thank you, Alex, inviting me on the stage. I'm Aki Hasegawa from Kokusai Kogyo. Everybody calls KKC. And our company is focusing on geospecific information services. And as a part of it, that now we are focusing on LBS, location-based service, and Quuppa technology that completely fit into our business models and the services. And as you heard from their presentation, that the accuracy of the location is the really key to achieve such innovative solution. And we appreciate very much for the support from Quuppa. And this morning, actually, I had, not this morning, yesterday, Sami made the speech, and I was very much impressed about the way goal is described. The 5 million square,
100 million.
Yeah, 6 million.
100 million.
200.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger, yes.
So starting from 6 million today and expanding it to 100. And that the way I was very much impressed that he's not talking about money. He's talking about the coverage. And also the message I heard is technology to solution. And that also tells that how to think about the customer and how to widen the coverage to make the customer happy with their solution. And then money gonna follow for the size of the space and coverage and so on. So that was very much impressive to me. And I really like to accommodate and follow the such concept in our business as well. So we will try to make our approach. And our company, KKC, is focusing manufacturing applications as well as constructions. But on top of it, we are supporting those office applications as well as entertainment applications. And the last year, the exhibition was held at Dubai Expo for the Japanese pavilion. They had some program using Quuppa technology, which is supported by KKC. And the exhibition got the Gold Award, which is the #1 award for the Dubai Expo. So we brought some video, so please enjoy the video. Thank you. So would you play the video, please? That's it. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Wow. Who would like to go and visit 3L? Anybody?
Definitely.
Like, everybody wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you come,
Like so much fun. Why didn't you bring the tags here? We could have had so much fun. And
we
for
need to-
everybody,
yeah.
for everybody. Next time.
Next time, yes.
We want to analyze it. How interesting, how fascinating. Any questions for this trio? Okay, how much did the pavilion cost? No, just kidding. I didn't ask that. I didn't ask that. It's not a relevant question. It's completely irrelevant. The question I see is obviously it's very experimental. We saw the airwaves and stuff. But I'm going to ask another very silly question. What's the future of what's the new business Ricoh's going to invent from all this? And any kind of evidence of where we're going from something very concrete we all know to something that is part of the imagination? Where are we going with any evidence? I know you can't reveal anything really that is not public, but is there any evidence of where we should be going and how location is a part of that future?
Right. So at the moment, still, we are making a very good business in the current core business,
Yeah.
which is a printing or managed document services. But obviously, the recently, due to the COVID-19, the people do not come to the office and they do not use the machines. So that means that it's not it's not the business like before Corona. So we need to transform ourselves, first from the hardware company to the digital services. So this is our primary focus at the moment. But beyond that, that digital services is still something we try to make it productive or efficiency.
Sure.
But we wanted to look at something like beyond that, which is like the people-centric type of emotional feeling type of solutions. We don't know what it is. We just started in 3L.
We're excited to hear about that.
maybe a hint to that.
There is a hint.
There is a hint. We're not just looking at real-time location, RTLS in the space. We also have Teams, right, and the data which is there. So you can combine the two, what's happening virtually and what's happening in real life, and what you can do with that. Like, I think Microsoft Research is doing a lot with that, how you can look at teams and how you can look at combinations of people.
Yeah.
So maybe that direction. It's a hint.
At that intersection. Very, very cool. Let's give him a very, very big hand one more time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Wonderful. Hey,